But how did black artists treat you?
Great. That's where I'm. Listen,
like Tupac or Biggie or those guys.
Oh, good friends of mine. I was friends with Tupac way before he even blew up. When he was with Digital Underground, NWA. I was the opening act. Listen,
I mean that's all old news. I didn't lie about.
But I haven't.
All I heard was like Ice Ice Baby, and I knew all these stones was being thrown at him, and I'm like, that song is whack.
For the real estate, I've been doing it for over 30-something years. I've been a GC. I went to design school, got a degree 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's why the TV show has 180 episodes and 13 seasons, is because we still just do it. I really do it. There's no fluff to my show, you know? I go to seminars all over the world, man. Anytime a seminar comes in, and I'll go to real estate seminars, I'll go to self-help seminars, I go to all kinds of things. I'm really clean. Like I had a weekend, like you, I think, that lasted about 3 years.
I'm just cooling.
Then you're wasting our time.
All right, I get it. Check this though. If you need me, I'll be right over there.
What did you do early on that kept you financially stable and now financially flourishing at this point in your life?
So what I did was find another passion, and it's homes and real estate. So I got hit by Hurricane Andrew on Star Island. I had a home for 12 years.
You had a home on Star Island.
12 years I lived on.
Vanilla Ice is finally breaking his silence on why he really disappeared from the spotlight. And let's just say, it's not for the reason most people thought. For the longest time, everyone assumed he just flopped after Ice Ice Baby, that he was a one-hit wonder who couldn't keep up in the rap game. But behind the scenes, something a lot darker may have been happening. Apparently, some powerful music executives were trying to pull him into those shady secret rituals that people in the industry always whisper about. You know, the creepy stuff, the kind of things you'd expect in conspiracy theories. Except this time, there are real claims attached to it. But instead of playing along, Ice said no. He walked away from it all. And yeah, he lived to tell the story. But not without going through some seriously terrifying moments first. So, what did Vanilla Ice finally reveal about the dark side of Hollywood? Stick around to find out.
Why are all these stones really being thrown at us?
I was young, manipulated. Yeah, I was 16 years old when I wrote that song, and it didn't really come out for 3 years later. We didn't have enough money to buy a video, so I had to borrow some money to make the video, and we just, kind of scrounged. I've been balling since I started at 16, bro. Right? I ain't never lost no money. You got to get it right and tight, bro. I'm straight.
Okay.
Investment-wise, the Iceman's got it down.
There you go.
My bodyguard stood up and he got slapped down.
He slapped the bodyguards.
Oh, yeah.
Himself or one of his guys?
I hate to tell you, he slapped him so hard and made him cry, my bodyguard. Tommy was like, you did good. You're still alive.
So the big question is, how did he avoid the same trap that's taken down so many other artists? And was he really that close to being sacrificed by people at the top? Let's dig into the wild story of how Vanilla Ice dodged the industry's dark side, and why that might have been the smartest move he ever made.
What did you think?
That wasn't bad, but it's time to lay it down right.
I melt Vanilla Ice like silicone. Now, I don't think that was a diss. He was just naming white rappers.
It's not a
one
diss.
after another.
It's not a diss.
Not a diss.
He's never
when I heard it, I'm like, okay, this is clever wordplay of naming the white rappers.
He mentions
and
me in
off.
songs, colored his hair just like me.
At one point, he admitted that everything he dreamed of ended up being a nightmare. He realized that the real purpose in life had nothing to do with money, fame, or all the flashy things that came with success. You see, Vanilla Ice was the poster boy for early 90s pop rap. He skyrocketed to fame, then vanished almost just as fast. The world labeled him a phase, not an artist with staying power. But now, it turns out that may have not been the full story. According to recent reports, his exit wasn't about fading popularity. It was because the people behind the scenes allegedly tried to involve him in the same disturbing rituals that other artists have spoken out about.
Relationships with guys? No. Was I doing things with guys that would probably be deemed to be gay?
In past interviews, Ice talked about what he was exposed to. He said there were moments when he felt like people were trying to test him spiritually, morally, and personally. He was asked if he ever had relationships with other men during that time. He denied it, but explained that these situations were part of something deeper. He described it as a spiritual war, a system of hazing designed to break artists down before they could rise up.
Robert, Van Winkle.
Why did you cheat?
Nothing rhymes with Winkle. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero.
But I really didn't know what to, what to expect.
He believed that to be considered worthy in the industry, you had to go through humiliating or compromising situations, and for some, that included doing things they wouldn't normally do. He called it a ritual, a hazing process, something artists had to go through to climb the ladder. When asked how that experience changed him, Ice didn't hesitate. He said it didn't make him more of a man. If anything, it tried to take his manhood away. It tried to strip him of his identity. And now those rumors are back that Vanilla Ice was approached by major players in the industry at the height of his career and was invited to the same secret parties we're now hearing about in connection with big names like Diddy. Vanilla Ice didn't just back away quietly, he straight up said no. In later interviews, he talked about how fake the whole industry felt, how manipulated he felt, and how dark fame could get. So he did what most people don't dare to do. He walked away. At one point, Vanilla Ice hit rock bottom. He had all the fame, all the money, but none of it mattered. He admitted there was a time he didn't even want to live anymore. Despite having hundreds of millions in the bank, he felt completely empty. These days, though, it's the total opposite. He's grounded, grateful, and focused on what really matters: his kids, his family, and living with real purpose. He once described his journey like shaking a snow globe. Back then, everything looked shiny and exciting, but once the chaos settled, he realized none of it was real, just a fake image built for show. That's when he started figuring out who he really was. And he's not shy about how fame can mess people up, especially young stars. He even said someone like Justin Bieber could probably use real advice because the pressure is no joke. Looking back, I said the pressure he faced was on another level. As a white rapper in the early 90s, he became an easy target, and the hate was loud. He wasn't just criticized, he was attacked. The pressure almost broke him, not just from the industry, but from inside his own head. The dreams he once chased ended up feeling more like nightmares. And then there's the stuff people still whisper about, the freak-off parties. By the time Vanilla Ice was peaking, Diddy hadn't blown up yet. He was still working behind the scenes. But when Diddy eventually stepped into the spotlight, he was allegedly repeating what he had been taught by the same mentors who once tried to pull Ice into that same secret world. Right after Ice Ice Baby exploded, Vanilla Ice caught the attention of some powerful industry players. One of them was the late Charles Koppelman, a major executive with deep ties to Clive Davis, the same man who later mentored Diddy.
Yeah, I was 16 years old when I wrote that song, and it didn't really come out for 3 years later. We didn't have enough money to buy a video, so I had to borrow some money to make the video, and we just, kind of scrounged it together and put it out. It became the #1 video on MTV ever, probably the cheapest video ever played on MTV. But it was an amazing phenomenon, and when the Ninja Rap came out is when it really set in and put the concrete in. Because everybody like you and I grew up to the Ninja Turtles, but everybody today is growing up to them. It's huge. It's bigger than...
At one point, Ice recalled a Grammy party, the night Whitney Houston passed away. He said Diddy was there, giving speeches and holding the community together. According to him, Diddy explained why the party still had to go on, even during such a tragic time. It was emotional and it left an impression, but behind all that, there was still that quiet question. How deep do these connections really go? Word on the street was that the executives behind the scenes didn't just see Vanilla Ice as a hit maker, they saw him as someone they could control. A puppet, basically. They were allegedly grooming him for those same shady industry rituals that people would later link to Diddy. But Ice wasn't having it. He caught on to what was happening, and instead of going deeper into the machine, he bounced. Just like that, he disappeared from the mainstream and stepped away from the industry completely. But let's be clear, walking away wasn't easy. During his short but explosive career, Ice went through some scary stuff. He later admitted there were moments he wasn't sure he'd make it out alive. Here's how it all started. Vanilla Ice, whose real name is Robert Matthew Van Winkle, got discovered around 1987 by DJ Floyd Earthquake Brown. It happened at a club in South Dallas called City Lights. Just 2 years later, Ice released To the Extreme, his debut studio album under a major label, and it blew up. That album sold 15 million copies worldwide, faster than Purple Rain by Prince, which had dropped 6 years earlier. His lead single, Ice Ice Baby, made history as the first rap track to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It helped push hip-hop right into the mainstream, and suddenly, Vanilla Ice was everywhere.
All I heard was like Ice Ice Baby, and I knew all these stones was being thrown at him, and I'm like, that song is whack. But why all these stones really being thrown at him? Okay, let him take his money and, you know, blow himself. I don't give a fuck, you know? Like, whatever.
And it didn't stop with music. Hollywood came knocking too. In 1991, he made his big screen debut in the movie Cool as Ice. At this point, everyone wanted a piece of Vanilla Ice. Even Madonna, who was reportedly so into him that she actually proposed. He later said the whole thing felt like a whirlwind. Things were moving so fast he didn't even know how to react. He was in his early 20s, still trying to figure things out, and here comes Madonna, flipping the script. He recalled being totally thrown off. He didn't expect her to be the one proposing. It was way too much, way too fast, and he just wasn't ready for that kind of pressure.
She even proposed to me. I mean, things were going so crazy and fast, man. I was just like, what? I thought the guy was supposed to do that. What do you mean? Wait a minute. This is too fast. I'm just getting started here, and I'm way too young for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was crazy. The more I think about it, the more crazy.
Unlike a lot of guys in his position, Vanilla Ice wasn't into chasing women or playing the celebrity dating game. He married Laura Garita in 1997, and they had 2 daughters. The couple stayed married for nearly 20 years before splitting in 2016. Laura eventually filed for divorce, saying Ice had cut her off financially and kept money hidden. But still, lasting that long in Hollywood, that's rare, especially when you think about the chaos that used to surround him. His fans, especially the girls, were intense. He once talked about a wild autograph signing event in Miami. The store only had space for 500 people, but over 5,000 showed up. The crowd packed the mall inside, outside, everywhere. He said there were 10 security guards trying to keep control, but the second he called for the next person in line, the crowd rushed. They ripped his shirt clean off, broke his watch, girls were grabbing at his pants so hard, security had to physically drag him away because he couldn't even walk.
An in-store, which is called an autograph signing party in Miami. And this place only holds like, the record store is called Specs, and it only holds like 500 people. And there's 5,000 people showed up. All hanging out in the mall, hanging outside, inside, completely packed. And I had 3 security guards, plus the mall security, which was about 7 of them. So there's about 10 security guards altogether. And I go, okay, come up next. Whoever wants to come next, you know, get a autograph. Wow. The whole crowd. I mean, they ripped, I had my MTV shirt on and everything, and they ripped it completely off. My censorship shirt, ripped it completely off, broke my watch on the concrete. The security guards had to drag me out of there because the girls had hold of my pants and I couldn't walk, and I was just like getting dragged this way and pulled this way.
And the madness didn't stop there. Someone even wrote, "We love you, Vanilla Ice," on his all-white limousine using a permanent marker.
They wrote on the limo with a marker, "We love you, Vanilla Ice," on an all-white limousine with a magic marker that doesn't, a permanent marker.
Yeah, it was that level of crazy. At just 23, Vanilla Ice was on top of the world, the biggest name in rap, even if only for a moment. But with that fame came criticism. People questioned whether he was authentic or just another example of cultural appropriation.
Milk bone, I'm everlasting. I melt vanilla ice like silicone. Now, I don't think that was a diss. He was just naming white rappers.
That's not a
one
diss.
after another.
That's not a diss.
Not a diss.
He's never
when I
dissed.
heard it, I'm like, okay, this is clever wordplay of naming the white rappers.
He mentions
and
me in
off.
songs, colored his hair just like me.
Right.
I don't know, man.
And
you know
then,
what's
you
funny
know-
is I don't have any comment about Eminem. It's the funniest thing ever. It's like I'm supposed to have one. And the only reason why I think that people want me to have an opinion about Eminem is because he's white. And
Well-
it's really weird. I look at him like I do not see the white. I see there's a rapper.
Yeah.
Things really heated up when he claimed that he was from Miami. That didn't sit well with fans. Or with Arsenio Hall, who confronted him on live TV. Ice later said he used to be a fan of the show, but after that interview, not anymore. He felt like Arsenio was out to get him from the start. Ice tried to clear the air. He said the whole Miami thing came from the record label. They built a flashy image around him, complete with a fake backstory. It wasn't his idea, but it stuck. People saw it as a gimmick, and the hate started pouring in.
Arsenio Hall show, at first I was a fan, you know.
Well, what you gonna do?
And then I became definitely not a fan of the show, especially after I did the show.
In all fairness to my audience, when you talk about Vanilla Ice, I was mad at Vanilla Ice before the interview started. You have been embroiled in a lot of controversy. The press has been really hard on you lately, saying that you lie about your background.
I mean, that's all old news. I didn't lie about
But
nothing.
I haven't interviewed you, so it's new news for my audience, so let's get into it.
I thought he was a little hard on me. He was venomous.
I've heard stories about me lying about where I came from and everything, and I never lied. Let me just tell you, when the record company creates all this stuff, bios around you, and, you know, they have your own publicists and everything, they create this image, okay? This image. And it's easy to hate on that image because it's a novelty act image, you know? I was kind of thrown into this new kids with snot category.
He later admitted he was trying to blend in. He had lived in Miami, wrote Ice Ice Baby about it, and didn't think anyone would care where he was really from. Truth is, he was kind of embarrassed about growing up in Farmers Branch, Dallas. So when people asked, he kept it vague. Said he was from around the way. Even with all the rumors and drama, he never asked for a pass. He worked for everything. At the start, he was obsessed with dance. He studied movies like Breaking and Beat Street, staying up all night trying to master every move, even throwing in some of his own. His mindset was simple. No matter what, you had to prove yourself. Eventually, he formed his own dance crew and started making money doing what he loved. He'd breakdance, beatbox, and freestyle at local malls, making around $40 a day, which he joked was more than what most of his rich friends got for an allowance. Vanilla Ice didn't have a glamorous start. He dropped out of high school, never met his real dad, and watched his mom go through multiple marriages. He grew up lower middle class, working random low-paying jobs while chasing something bigger. And as the only white kid in a mostly black hip-hop scene, he knew he had something to prove. He said he didn't have a crystal ball or any solid plan, just a strong feeling. There was an energy around him, and he knew he had to do something with it. People liked what he was doing, and that gave him confidence. His first big break? It actually came on a dare. A friend challenged him to rap at open mic night at Club City Lights. Ice took the mic, and the crowd went wild. The club manager saw the reaction and immediately asked him to come back. That moment opened doors. Soon he was opening for legends like NWA, Public Enemy, The Doc, Paula Abdul, Sinbad, and MC Hammer. He was quickly becoming a local legend in Dallas, not just on the mic, but on the motocross tracks and party battle scenes too. But his rise wasn't without danger. At one point, he nearly lost his life in a tragic attack. He was stabbed 5 times and lost half the blood in his body, 4 out of 8 pints. He later said he almost didn't make it. The story was wild. He'd been riding with a friend, Phil, when a fight broke out. The fight wasn't even Ice's. He didn't know the guy involved. But suddenly, they were in someone's front yard, and a man in a trench coat came out. Phil ran off, leaving Ice face to face with the stranger.
I got stabbed 5 times, got my main artery right here in my leg. I almost died. You only have 8 pints of blood, I lost 4.
Damn.
And it was in my friend's seat for 3 months after. It still didn't even dry up. Like, he had the sponge seat, you know, underneath it, and it was in the seat when he took me to the hospital. My buddy Phil took me to the hospital. It was his fight. It wasn't even my fight. I didn't even know who this guy was. I was his passenger. And he's in the front yard of some dude's house. And he goes up, and the dude comes out in this trench coat, and Phil runs like turns into the biggest in the world and runs. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, what the that The dude was coming at him, and he turns around and ran. This is my big
The guy came at him aggressively, and Ice defended himself, not realizing he was being stabbed during the fight. He managed to choke the guy out and get away, but when he looked down, he was covered in blood. The guy had hit his main artery, and the blood was gushing like something out of a horror movie.
And the guy came at me. He goes, you want some of this, mother? I go, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what this is, bro. What's going on? And mother just standing there, and he's yuck. Next thing I know, I turn around, I choked the dude. He's just a skinny dude, a little guy. And that's why I couldn't understand why Phil ran. I didn't see the knife. He ran because he had a knife. And Phil comes back after the dude's laughing. I beat the dude. He saw me. Phil's 2 houses down in the front yard looking at me. I'm fighting this dude. Didn't even know he was stabbing me. And I'm choking him, and I choked him out. Did one of those old UFC moves. I put him on the ground, and I just choked him out. I'm punching him in the face. I beat his ass. Skinny little dude. He was easy to beat up. I let him go. He's out, and I get up, and he's still on the ground, and he's laughing at me. I'm like, why are you laughing, dude? I just beat your ass. And I go to, I'm exhausted, so I put my hands like this, and my hand slipped off. And I go, what the I looked at it and it was blood everywhere, and you got my main artery here. It was just gushing out like some you see out of the movies where just an artery is main thing. It squirts out. And he got me in my ass.
He ended up with 47 stitches in his hand and a few other scars in places he joked about but didn't exactly want to show on camera. Even after all that, Ice didn't slow down. After that now famous performance at City Lights, talent scouts and A&Rs from major labels started throwing business cards his way. His looks, his skills, and his energy were turning heads.
Stabbed me across here, got 47 stitches on my hand.
47 stitches.
From here, see it? Right here, all the way down to here. I mean, I got scars. There's the artery right there, dog. Not to show you my untanned leg, I don't wear tight shorts and that's where the knife went in right there. And I'll spare you the details of my ass, but
yeah, we don't need to.
There's the scar there. Scar stories, man. Nothing to it.
Even Public Enemy tried to get their producer, Hank Shockley, to sign him to Def Jam. Eventually, he signed with SBK Records in 1990. And despite all the critics, he earned the respect of major artists, including MC Hammer and Tupac. While on tour with Hammer for Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, Hammer said what impressed him most was how Ice didn't try to be anyone else. He wasn't copying moves or playing a role. He was doing his own thing. And that, in a world full of imitators, made him stand out. Turns out Vanilla Ice actually had a pretty solid relationship with Tupac back in the day. He said they were cool with each other, even before Tupac blew up as a solo artist. According to him, black artists didn't treat him with judgment. Quite the opposite. Tupac, Biggie, and others embraced him. He remembered being that random white kid on the Stop the Violence tour, opening for the Openers, way before he was famous, but they welcomed him anyway. Tupac especially left a mark. Ice said Pac never accused him of stealing from the culture or faking it. Instead, he offered support, real support. When Ice was going through a tough time, dealing with the hate and the pressure, Tupac pulled him aside and gave him some powerful words. He told him he was dope. He said that he was one of the greats, that he'd leave a legacy. And the wild part, this was before Vanilla Ice made history.
But how did black artists treat you?
Great. That's where I'm. Listen,
like Tupac or Biggie or those guys.
Oh, good friends of mine. I was friends with Tupac way before he even blew up. When he was with Digital Underground. NWA. I was the opening act. Listen, I was the opening act for the opening act for the opening act for the opener for the opener when we did the Stop the Violence tour with NWA, Stetsasonic, EPMD, Sir Mix-a-Lot. So I was that kid out there, and they were great friends. They embraced Tupac, and I are good friends.
Yes,
good dude. Gave me some of my greatest advice because he saw me going through hell with all the hatred and all the shit, and he stood up for me and said straight up, Ice, you're dope. He goes, I want you to know you're one of the great ones. You're dope. You're going to leave your mark, your legacy, and this is before it happened. He knew it. This guy had a...
But not all industry relationships were that supportive. Tupac's label boss, Suge Knight, took things in a much darker direction. There's a now legendary story that Suge once held Vanilla Ice over a hotel balcony, literally. It all started with a songwriter named Mario Chocolate Johnson. He claimed to have helped write Ice Ice Baby, and at the time, he was managed by Suge. When Suge found out about Johnson's contribution to the track, he went straight to Vanilla Ice and demanded a piece of the profits. And when people say demanded, they're not exaggerating.
Not what he says at all.
I had my bodyguards who had guns, and they had their people which had guns, and they had us outpowered and outnumbered.
Talking publicly about it for the first time, Van Winkle describes a terrifying night in his suite at a Beverly Hills hotel when he says Suge Knight showed up with 6 other men.
Roughed one of my bodyguards up. They roughed everybody else in my whole entourage.
The story goes that Suge showed up at Vanilla Ice's hotel and allegedly held him over a balcony until he agreed to give up 25% of the royalties. Later on, Ice cleared the air, saying he wasn't literally dangling by his ankles, but the threat was still very real. He said the hotel suite was full of tension. Suge didn't come alone. He brought 6 guys with him, and while Ice had bodyguards, so did Suge. And they were outnumbered. Ice remembered his entire entourage getting roughed up. It was the kind of night that sticks with you forever.
My bodyguard stood up and he got slapped down.
He slapped the bodyguards.
Oh, yeah.
Himself or one of his guys?
I hate to tell you, he slapped him so hard and made him cry, my bodyguard. Tommy was like, you did good.
All these allegations are lies.
And Death Row came out.
and Tupac came out because of Vanilla Ice.
Right.
Snoop Dogg, all of them know it. I'm friends with Tupac.
None of that money was basically the start of Death Row Records. It wasn't.
So Harry O's the one that funded Death Row. It wasn't the money that, Suge Knight got from Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby.
But if we fast forward to today, the tables have turned. These days, Vanilla Ice is living a whole new life, far from rap beefs and industry chaos. He's now a full-blown real estate investor, and get this, he was flipping houses before it was even cool. He started early in Florida, turning his music money into real business.
I've been doing it for over 30-something years. I've been a GC. I went to design school, got a degree 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's why the TV show has 180 episodes and 13 seasons, is because we still just do it. I really do it. There's no fluff to my show, you know? I go to seminars all over the world, man. Anytime a seminar comes in, and I'll go to real estate seminars, I'll go to self-help seminars, I go to all kinds of things. I'm really clean. Like, I had a weekend, like you, I think, that lasted about 3 years, way back in my early 20s, and then I've been clean since, so it's been a long time, because I'm...
What did you do early on that kept you financially stable and now financially flourishing at this point in your life?
So what I did was find another passion, and it's homes and real estate. So I got hit by Hurricane Andrew on Star Island. I had a home for 12 years.
You had a home on Star Island.
12 years I lived on Star Island.
You were balling back then. All right.
I've been balling since I started at 16, bro.
Right?
I ain't never lost no money. You got to get it right and tight, bro. I'm straight.
Okay.
Investment-wise, the Iceman's got it down.
Got it.
I do really well, and I like to help other people out.
Okay.
And that's a big thing. Charity-wise, I help children that are terminal out. I do lots of great things with my money. And I have lots of people that are working for me. I have lots of great things that people, all the people that work for me love it. Buy them lunch, give them incentives, everything.
That hustle eventually led to his own show, The Vanilla Ice Project, which ran for 13 seasons on the DIY network. Why? Because he actually does the work. No fluff, no faking it. He's been in the game for over 30 years, went to design school, became a licensed contractor, and built a solid portfolio. On the personal side, he shared that he's big on growth. He goes to real estate and self-help seminars and says he's been clean for years. He even joked that his weekend phase lasted about 3 years in his 20s, but he's been on the right track ever since. Now, while Suge Knight is serving a decades-long sentence and won't be eligible for parole until 2034, Vanilla Ice is still building, still hustling, and doing it on his terms. In the end, Vanilla Ice didn't cave to the pressure. He walked away from the fame machine, skipped out on those sketchy industry parties, and bet on himself. And you know what? That move paid off. While a lot of people who mocked him back in the day are either broke or behind bars, Ice is still stacking wins, just in a different lane. For many fans, leaving the music scene and shifting to real estate wasn't just a good choice, it was genius. He got out before the industry could eat him alive. No scandals, no crash and burn, just a guy who took control, did things his way, and built a whole new legacy. But now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about Vanilla Ice's journey? Did he make the right move stepping away from the spotlight? And what's your take on all the rumors about industry elites trying to pull him into something darker? Let us know in the comments. And stick around because this story, it's just getting started. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.